Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Azeroth Daily for the 8th or the 9th, depending on where you are, of March 2011. My name is TotalBiscuit, bringing you your daily dose of WoW news and comment, if we don't get any more blue screens today and lose half my data. In the headlines today, Blizzard has released a rather long retrospective video which chronicles the rise of Blizzard and all sorts of wonderful trivia. It's about 45 minutes long. I would highly recommend that you go and check it out after this video is done. The link to get there is in the description below this video. Yes, go there. Good stuff, honestly. Quite a lot of interesting material. I did not know, in fact, that one of the Blizzard employees was able to beat another at Street Fighter 2 with his feet. MMO Champion has released a bunch of screenshots which show the daily zone within the firelands, and these are, of course, datamined, are incredibly early shots, so nobody knows exactly how accurate these things are going to be, but they look pretty damn good, don't they? I really like the texture on the sky, actually. Absolutely fantastic stuff there. Probably one of the most impressive zones I've seen thus far. Admittedly, some of the indoor shots look exactly like the Molten Core, so I'm not so excited about that. Whatever the case, you can go and check out the full set of screenshots on MMO Champion, and the link to that article is also in the description below this video. Blizzard has announced an Ask the Devs segment, which will allow you to, well, ask the devs, as you might imagine. It's a Q&A, and you are able to submit questions, although it's only available on the US forums. So if you want to go and find out exactly what's going on there, and have a look at the questions, and participate by voting up particular questions you would like asked, then you can do so by clicking on the link in the description below this video. And with that, it's time for your Daily Blues. Fidelic posts asking whether or not Blizzard is actually open to negative criticism, and needless to say, this brings all of the trolls well out of the woodwork. You know, how many people can you spot in this thread that have blatantly gotten banned for breaking the rules or posting some stupid moronic thread, and are now blaming it on Blizzard's inability to take constructive criticism? Daxxari, unfortunately, does not know the maxim of do not feed the troll. I can go with that. I don't know it either. Whatever the case, he goes on to answer many different questions and spar with a few forum trolls on the subject of just how open they are to constructive criticism. And I would have to agree with one particular point that states that the threads are not closed because they criticize Blizzard, but they are closed because they violate the forum rules. And whether or not you actually like the forum rules, it doesn't actually matter. They are in place and they will be enforced, so don't frickin' break them. Good lord, go and read them, folks. Go and read them, and then you'll know exactly where your boundaries lie. Strager criticizes the way that Ask the Devs is currently working and suggests a number of possible alternatives as to how it should actually operate. Bashiopk responds by saying it's not actually a one-time thing. They're hoping to make it into a weekly series, and they may actually be able to change it around, but points out that the 500-post lock was actually a good thing as opposed to a bad thing, because people would not read through 200 pages of questions to see if theirs was asked already, so it would have just led to a bunch of redundancy. Quite frankly, it'll probably lead to some anyway, but at least the damage is limited. He also points out that this feature will not stop the Blues from responding to other threads, as some people seem to believe. Bashiopk also is pointing out right here that the thread limits are back in effect for the forums. They were temporarily offline when they launched the new forums. Now the length is limited to around 500 posts, or about 26 pages, and the thread will be automatically locked at that point. So get your sniping skills ready, folks, for that amazing 500. Yes, I remember the contests back on the EU forums for ending a thread in a particular manner. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. And then I got banned 7 times. And with that, it's time for your daily grind. Now, I promised this one would end with a bang, and I wasn't kidding. We go into a quest called Dwarf Fortress. Yes, quite. Oh dear. And that involves going down and finding some schematics in the bottom of the Baal Medan fortress, and then you follow it up by sabotaging an artillery shell which blows up the entire place. Or at least you would hope it does. It has a great cutscene of the place exploding. Unfortunately, once the cutscene goes away, you can then turn around and notice that absolutely nothing has happened to it, which kind of sucks. I was hoping for a little bit of phasing there. But whatever the case, a fitting end to a rather amusing questline indeed. I certainly hope that the cheesy goblin got out in time. Or perhaps not. And with that, it's time for your weekly feature. This is the Achievement Hog. On this episode of the Achievement Hog, we're going to be having a look at some of the new achievements that are available in patch 4.1. They're obviously not on the servers as of yet, and bear in mind I won't be able to show you exactly how to get them for very obvious reasons. However, I will let you know what they are so you can start planning accordingly. So, we'll kick it off right here in the General tab. Now, what we're going to find here are a couple of additional food and drink achievements. One of these goes by the name of Drown Your Sorrows. That is 50 different types of beverages. Now, that's a 100% increase from Happy Hour Somewhere, and there's also Cataclysmically Delicious, which requires you to sample 100 different types of food. That's a lot of damn food, and I would imagine that they're putting in new food and recipes to make that just a little bit easier. Now, some of the other achievements that are available are progressions on stuff you already have. For instance, Can I Keep Him? You should be well aware that if you get Can I Keep Him, you can then unlock plenty of pets. And this is going to keep going on, and there are two new pet achievements. Petting Zoo, which requires 100 companion pets, and Menagerie, which will require 125 companion pets. Now, there are no cumulative achievements for this as of yet because this is still very early on in the patch, so I have no idea whether or not that will reward anything. It is entirely possible, though. Right, there is one for tabards as well. Now, obviously, this one requires you to equip a tabard. You've already got this. This will unlock the next stage and the next stage until you go up to 30 tabards, which is actually the name of the achievement, and it requires you, as you might imagine, to equip 30 unique tabards. I wasn't even aware there were 30 tabards within the game. And there you go, apparently there are. Now, there is also one of these for those of you who happen to have the Vial of the Shifting Sands or attempting to get one. There is an achievement for that now as well, which makes sense considering there was also an achievement for the Mechaniers Chopper, as well as the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. Now, that's all of them in the Generals tab. There are a couple of new ones in the Quest tab. Now, in the Quest tab, which you're not going to see here for obvious reasons, it will unlock later on, there's one for 2,500 daily quests complete. And that doesn't have a name yet, aside from 2,500 daily quests complete. So I would imagine that unlocks once you've done a bunch of these. And there's one called Justly Rewarded, which allows you to get an achievement for getting 30,000 gold from quest rewards. That's quite silly, is it not? An awful lot of them. There aren't all that many achievements available in Zul'Aman and Zul'Gurub as of yet in this early build, but I will try and show you a couple of them in next week's show. And with that, it's time for the mailbox. This one comes in from Anonymous, who says, "Hey TB, the reason for this email is that I've recently considered going to the game DC Universe, even though I'm a big WoW player. I started playing WoW when it first came out, and I have played from that time, but WoW is starting to become a bit stale for me, and it just seems to be losing its edge. Is this just because I've been playing it for so long, or is it because WoW is truly going downhill after all these years? Well, I think it's because you've been playing it for so long. There's nothing wrong with trying other MMOs and playing other games. In fact, I think it's an extremely healthy thing to do. I've quit WoW more times than I can count. Man, I've clicked unsub so many times. I've seen that crying orc so many times. Really, I've had the Blizzard guilt tripping ramp up over the years. It used to be alright, and now it's the ludicrous levels. You gotta explain why you leave. It's like, oh, but why would you do that? Yeah, it's pretty horrible. But whatever the case, I think it's perfectly healthy to go and try other MMOs. It's good to get some variety in your gaming life. And what I can tell you for a fact is that it will make you appreciate WoW more when you come back to it. Take a break. Don't burn out, and I've said this 1,000 times, and it really does surprise me how often people don't take this advice. If a game is not fun for you anymore, please stop playing it. Please, stop playing it, play something that is. Your leisure time is supposed to be enjoyable. Please make it enjoyable. Don't force yourself to do things that you don't want to. Life is too goddamn short to be wasting your leisure time on something you're not enjoying. This one comes in from Kafer, who says, "I'm a WoW player who has been playing since late vanilla and early TBC. I'm also 18, and therefore started playing when I was around 14. I'm always discouraged when I see older gamers getting angry at younger gamers because of what the older gamers view as inexperience. Now, I'm not defending people who are generally bad players. I'm defending younger players, such as me and my younger brother, who also plays WoW and, to be frank, is better than me. I think that sometimes the older players need to slow down and not jump to conclusions on younger players and maybe see if they have not just made a mistake like a normal human being. What are your thoughts on this matter?" Well, when it comes to actual skill and competency in the game, in my opinion, age is not a factor. I have seen just as many dumb mistakes from people who are 30 plus years old as I have from people who are 13 years old. That's just the way of it. I do see fundamental attitude differences based on particular age ranges, but they're not necessarily bad. Obviously, you can bring the maturity argument on there, and yeah, a lot of 13, 14-year-olds can be petulant, they can be immature, that's just the way that they are, and we all went through that phase, and I think people have got to be more accepting of that. It's like, hey, I just went past the age of 18, suddenly I'm the most mature guy in the world. Hell freaking no, you are not, quite frankly. But, yeah, ageism within World of Warcraft sucks as much as sexism, sucks as much as homophobia, sucks as much as racism, xenophobia, and all that kind of nonsense. We are all gamers, ladies and gentlemen. There is no place for that nonsense in our gaming reality. I certainly hope not, at any rate. If there is, that's certainly not a gaming reality that I want to be a part of, so I'm going to go and make my own reality with blackjack and hookers, and you're all welcome to join me. Hell, I'll tell you one thing, I've seen more whining on the forums from self-confessed casual players. It's like, oh, I have a job and a family, blah, blah, blah. I can't play more than 20 seconds per day. Please nerf all the content down to the level where I can beat it by hitting the spacebar over and over again. Yeah, I know, that would be a little bit odd, but see, you see it, and it almost exclusively comes from older people, whereas I don't see a lot of whining by teenagers. Admittedly, there is some, but nowhere near as much as there are from entitled adults that believe that their $15 a month will entitle them to get everything within the game with no effort involved. Okay, folks, that's me done for today's Azeroth Daily. Thank you very much for watching the show. Sorry about the delay. Blue screen wiped some of my data, so I had to go and redo it. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but hey, computer problems, they have been known to happen. Bear in mind, there will be a show on Wednesday and Thursday, but there will not be a show on Friday, since I will be in Sweden, and I will be there until Sunday evening. Thanks a lot, guys. Please remember to upvote and favorite this video if you liked it, and of course, downvote and, well, I suppose, defavorite. Write me an angry letter. Better be quite lengthy, though. It must be a stern and strongly worded letter in the true British style. And I'll see you next time.